the world of the Sirksey, it's impossible to live completely alone. People need community to survive, and the world is constantly changing between extremes of day and night, and winter and summer, and land and water, and death and life. So nothing can be immune to change. And there's no way to standardise anything, so nothing is exactly the same as anything else. And so the Sirksey find the opposites of these things kind of creepy. Things that are alone, or things that never change, or things that are so similar to each other that they're like one thing. Wearing identical clothes is weird, so different fabrics, different dyeing patterns, different embroideries and different colours overlap, so that no item is the same as others. Objects are taken care of and repaired, because materials aren't easy to come by, but any repairs are made obvious. It would be weird to keep an item of clothing for years and try to make it look like it had never changed. Beauty is associated with showing off community connections. People often braid each other's hair, using small beads and decorations that circulate through the community. Belts, worn to carry small items, are tied at the back, often in complex knots that can't be tied by the wearer. People take turns using magic to make each other's lives easier and more comfortable. So always having loose hair and wearing plain clothes, and refusing to be helped, is creepy. Too much agreement is unnatural and weird, so in groups making a decision, even if everyone privately agrees, someone will always argue against. This also has the benefit that nobody expects everyone to agree with them all the time, and people don't have to fear consequences for disagreeing with the group. Twins are like a microcosm of Sirksey community. They're inherently connected, but they're not the same. So they're protected and thought to bring good luck. Unless they're identical. Or at least if the Sirksey think they're identical, they don't really understand genetics. In some places, twins of the same sex are separated at birth and raised by different families. In others, they're raised as different genders, then are treated just as well as non-identical twins. If resources are particularly scarce, in some regions one twin might be killed. Twins are also especially prone to becoming ghosts when they die. See, a person's got two parts of them that can interact with the world. The body physically interacts with objects, while the spirit enables emotional connection. But if the spirit and body don't die at the same time, or if they become disconnected, then a person can turn into a ghost. When someone dies of old age or a slow-moving illness, the fire in their body slowly goes out, and the spirit dies along with the body. But when someone dies suddenly, the fire goes out all at once, and the spirit rushes out of the body to find somewhere warmer. This kind of ghost is a spirit without a body. You can make sure someone doesn't turn into a ghost when they die by wrapping their body in warm blankets and hides, so that the spirit will stay inside in the warmth and die naturally. The body is covered in snow to stop animals disturbing it, and so the spirit doesn't escape. But sometimes it's too late and the spirit has already fled. It can't die without its body because it can't physically interact with the world. Sometimes a spirit appears to people in dreams as a figure without footsteps in the snow, or without reflection in its eyes. For a while, they're harmless, sometimes even comforting, but when they go too long without change, they can start causing sickness in the living. When a spirit causes sickness, a family must tempt it back by offering food and gifts, and then burning the body. It's impossible to figure out which spirit is causing the sickness, and it's too cold here for bodies to decompose. So every few years, all the bodies in an area will be burnt, to prevent sickness, and so that they don't last forever. The scarier kind of ghost is a body living without a spirit. A spirit is what lets someone connect to other people, to give and take within a community. A person alone isn't really a person. Nobody quite knows why a spirit might die before the body. Some think it happens when someone feels alienated, so it's important for people to be supported by their community, especially in times of grief or stress. Some think grief or stress themselves can kill a spirit. Some think it happens when a person is so scared of change that they take things without giving back, even when they already have enough, and that by doing this they choose their body over their spirit. If a twin dies, the spirit of the surviving twin might die as well, or both spirits might just inhabit the same body. Nobody can really agree on what happens. A person without a community is dangerous, but at least they won't survive long alone. The most dangerous thing of all is a family of ghosts, a whole community of people who have lost the ability to connect with other communities, and who want to take and hoard rather than to take and give. What the Sirksey find unnatural and weird isn't just a reflection of what they do find natural. It's also an intentional adaptation to encourage community interdependence, non-conformity, and acceptance of change. Because they've seen what happens when those qualities disappear, and it terrifies them.